What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video. Today we're going to be checking out some NHL trade rumors from Specters Hockey for May 1st, 2019. I haven't done one of these in a long time, and as you guys can see, this isn't my usual backdrop for videos like this, but there's some stuff going on downstairs, some laundry being done, so I'm not going to interrupt that. I have a very limited amount of time that I can film today, so I figured I would just quickly make this video here, even though this video probably won't be very short. There's a lot of really good information in this. Specters Hockey link will be down below if you want to read more, but my thoughts will be in this video. So, get ready, because there is a lot in here, and of course it's not even the off season yet, and there's tons of NHL trade rumors with trades already happening, like the Fox trade, so we'll have to see what happens. But first, we're starting off with something from Sportsnet. Elliotte Friedman reported that some NHL clubs out there believe that Evgeni Malkin might be a guy that could be available. The 33-year-old center has a full no-movement clause. Recent buzz suggests he's taking time to decompress and consider if he'll waive it and where he'd be willing to go. Friedman believes it would be a short list, suggesting that the New York Rangers and Florida Panthers as possible destinations, but Penguins co-owner Mario Lemieux is reportedly against trading Malkin. Now let's look at the key factors to this. First of all, it's coming from Elliotte Friedman. We all know Friedman has been correct a lot of the time in hearing a lot of rumors, but I'd also like to point out that some clubs might be generating these rumors themselves, looking at the Penguins and another disappointing first-round exit, or not another, but a disappointing first-round exit, excuse me, and they might be reevaluating some of the roster, because I think they have to. The Penguins know that they might need to get a little younger, reshape some of the roster, but me personally, I don't believe that Evgeni Malkin is a guy that they're going to move. I think that Phil Kessel's a guy that might get moved, and again, I hate saying that because I am a fan of Kessel, but I don't think the Penguins would want to move guys like Malkin, and of course not Sidney Crosby. They're going to want Malkin to stay there. And the follow-up to this is a post from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. If the Penguins are going to trade Malkin, Paul Zeiss believes that they should engage in a full roster rebuild, which I don't think a full roster rebuild is necessary, but he says that it includes trading Kessel, which I agree with, Letang, which I disagree with, Hornqvist, maybe, and finding a taker for Jack Johnson's contract, which, yeah, you probably should do that. He doubts the Penguins would get the type of return for Malkin that would keep them in contention for the Stanley Cup, and that's where I definitely agree. I don't think that you would even get a real good return for Patrick Hornqvist that you really want. And same thing with like Letang. Maybe with Kessel you get a little bit younger, but I don't know if Letang, definitely for me, I don't think that'd be smart. Hornqvist, you could possibly do that. If they were thinking of getting rid of some of these guys to bring in a free agent, like if they had the money to bring in a big name guy, then yeah, maybe you get rid of some of these players. But you also don't want to take off Sidney Crosby. Like, you can't just start getting rid of the whole team and think, okay, well, we're going to be fine. Like, I really do believe this Pittsburgh team doesn't need a massive shakeup. I don't believe that trading Kessel would hurt the team that much, although he is fantastic. I love Phil Kessel. He's like a 90-point player, 80, 90-point player, which is hard to replace. But if you can get multiple pieces back that help your roster, and you can still get that point production, finding it in another player or something, it's very difficult, but I'm sure we're going to hear more about this, and I think that it's way too early to really think, okay, well, this is going to happen. From the Pittsburgh Tribune Review, Kevin Gorman believes trading Malkin would create more problems for the Penguins, which I agree. He feels Malkin no-movement clause doesn't give the Penguins any leverage. He suggests surrounding the center with a better supporting cast, which I would also agree with. So the Specters note on here says, doesn't sound like the notion of trading Malkin is going down well in the Pittsburgh media. I don't fault the Penguins management considering their options, but his no-movement clause handcuffs them, which is a very good point. If Malkin doesn't want to move, there's nothing they can do to change his mind. They won't reduce his ice time or banish him to the press box, which obviously is ridiculous. If he is willing to accept a trade, there's a good chance the clubs on his list either can't afford his $9.5 million annual range value or annual average value, or the Penguins' expensive asking price. So again, I wouldn't look too deep into the Malkin stuff, but if they're considering it, that would be a massive shakeup for Pittsburgh. I don't believe Malkin would get traded, so I'm going to have to disagree with that rumor. But if, again, like, who knows? I'm not in those rooms. I'm not on those phones. So who knows what's happening? I think a Kessel trade would be more likely. I don't think Malkin would go. So The Rangers have been active lately, of course, acquiring Adam Fox, but there's another thing here regarding Kevin Shattenkirk. So, could the Rangers shop Shattenkirk? The New York Post, Larry Brooks, believes the Rangers' acquisition of prospect defenseman Adam Fox yesterday could lead to a trade of Kevin Shattenkirk. The 30-year-old defenseman signed through to the 2020-21 season, has an average annual value cap hit of $6.65 million. Now, Brooks believes the Rangers could pick up 50% of his average annual value. However, they got little interest at the trade deadline. I don't think that a lot of teams would be very interested in Shattenkirk, even at that 50%. I think Shattenkirk's on the decline. I know a lot of Leaf fans, including myself, wanted to take a look at him when he was a free agent, but I think that it was a good move not to go after him. Those who inquired insisted the Rangers take back a bad contract as well. Brooks also believes a corresponding decision will have to be made about acquiring Winnipeg Jets blue liner Jacob Trouba. So I guess the Rangers could be going after Trouba as well, who could be available. We'll get to that as well. The Spectre's note in here says Shattenkirk's injury history and the decline in his performance accounts for the lack of interest in the trade market, which I said. Picking up half of his salary cap hit will help for potential suitors. They might want a draft pick or a prospect included in the deal. His 10-team no-trade list could also hamper efforts to move him. Again, it could still be very difficult to get Shattenkirk off your roster, because it is very true. They could be other teams would be like, listen, we'll take that contract, but you need to give us something good in return too. Like, we don't really want to just take on this dude's contract even at 50%. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. The Rangers could be busy. More on Trouba in a little bit as well. So this isn't really a trade rumor, but this is going to be a very consistent piece going through the offseason unless it gets done soon. And it's from Elliot Friedman regarding Mitch Marner. So it is believed that the Mitch Marner camp is seeking a deal comparable to Austin Matthews' value, which I don't believe would be a good idea. I just don't think that it makes sense. The Leafs don't think that he should surpass Patrick Kane's $10.5 million AAV. They want something similar to Stone or Kucherov, but they have to pay. But they play in no-tax states, so it's a little bit difficult for the Leafs here. So the Spectre's note says, I doubt Marner accepts less than $10 million annually, which I think he will. And there's a Spectre's note here that also say that they think that the agent is still going to ask between 11 and 12 million, which you can ask, but it doesn't really mean you're going to get it. So there were a lot of rumors out there saying that Marner was going to demand this much money, but I'm in the part that also believes he should be paid slightly under $10 million. I am a Leaf fan, but at the same time, it is a little bit ridiculous, some of this money that's being tossed out there. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, well, he's going to get offer sheeted. Let me just put something into perspective for people outside of the hardcore fans. Like the people that are just like hearing about an offer sheet and they go, oh, yeah, do it for another team. There's a lot of teams that can't afford the Marner contract, okay? So you have to take them out of there for the offer sheet. And then there's people like, oh, well, look at teams like Detroit or, all these other teams like Carolina, all this, they have cap space, they have this, okay, when a team is either on the fringe or a team that's just starting to build, like look at Carolina, like they're just starting to gain momentum, they want to be a playoff team every single year. You don't want to just right away be like, okay, well, we're just going to offer sheet Mitch Marner, because you have to give up 4 first-round picks. So if you sign Marner to like $11.5–12 million, you give him that money, you're putting yourself in cap trouble when you have to sign Sebastian Aho. Ferland's going to be a free agent. Williams is going to be a free agent. Are you going to rely on Mrazek and McElhinney to be as good as they were this year, and they both need contracts? Then you're going to give Marner that massive deal and give up 4 first-round draft picks. So you're giving away your future for the first round. You're making your cap very tough, like the Leafs are in a good situation right now, but for Carolina, it would be a bad situation because you're putting a massive contract in before not even having a supporting cast. So it would be tough. And I just use Carolina as an example because I seen that. I think Jeff Fiat tweeted that out, and people were like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. But this will be going on all off-season. This is just the first stepping stone in a video for me because I'm going to be talking about it until it's done. So let's move on from that. We don't want to tie too much of our time into Mitch Marner. But Spector's note, oh wait, no, I read that. There's another piece here regarding Nashville and PK Subban maybe being available this summer. Just quick, pointed out, Freeman points out that he would have become a Vancouver Canuck in 2016 if the Montreal Canadiens found a way to draft Pierre-Luc Dubois. So that's interesting. There could have been a massive trade, but Spector's note says, I don't see the Canucks getting into any sweepstakes for Subban. The asking price will include a scoring forward like Elias Pettersson or Brock Besser, so forget about it, which, yeah, you're not going to give up either of those two. So there's other notes here about Zach Bogosian. His hip surgery could change the plans for the Buffalo Sabres. Rasmus Ristolainen, maybe they're not going to trade him. They might get in a new coach in there that can handle his game, help him improve, or get a mentor that can help him out there. I don't think Ristolainen should go, especially if Bogosian's hip surgery, is going to change the plans for them. And the Spector's note here says, unless Ristolainen wants to trade, I think it would be a mistake to move him. Better to find a coach, like it says here, better to find a coach or perhaps a veteran blue liner to mentor the youngster. So that makes a lot of sense. So getting into some stuff with the Winnipeg, why is my phone going off? Sorry about that. I usually turn my notifications off. That's the NHL trade recap here. It looks like I got a note from a GM. I don't think so. Freeman believes the Winnipeg Jets will try to re-sign unrestricted free agents Brandon Tanev and Ben Chariot to free up salary cap room. They could shop Mathieu Perreault. Freeman also wondered if they would consider trading Nikolai Ehlers. I don't think they should trade Ehlers, but they are going to be in some trouble when it comes to their cap. Most expect Jacob Trouba to be traded. He becomes eligible next summer for UFA status, but he still needs a contract this year because he's a restricted free agent. I was mixing up the words there. One observer wondered if the Jets could keep him for next season as an own rental. But the Spector's note here covers a lot of bases. That makes a lot of sense. Even if the Jets preferred to keep Trouba as an own rental, they would still have to re-sign him this summer because he's a restricted free agent. He also has arbitration rights. And he's probably looking for about $7 million per season, which is steep. They also have to sign Patrick Laine, Kyle Connor, and the Jets probably won't even have enough to sign Trouba and then fill out the roster. So it's looking like Trouba could be a trade target, and I don't think they should get rid of Ehlers. I think the Laine and Kyle Connor contracts won't be too difficult. I think they've already got their numbers there, but that Trouba contract could be very expensive for the Jets, and I don't know if a lot of teams are willing to trade for a restricted free agent, but if Trouba finds a number and the other team can figure it out, then it could be a good deal. Trouba's a good defenseman, so we'll have to see where that goes. But this video's been long. Lots of information in here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you're watching this video, just know that this isn't me just going and picking random information out. This is from Spector's Hockey. He acquires these notes from all over the place and puts them into one article, which is down below. And they're all from verified sources, people who have had their job for a long time, people who do their job properly. So this isn't just some random news. And a lot of this is coming from Sportsnet and Elliot Freeman. So you gotta at least put some consideration into that it could be a true fact. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. I'd love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. Let's get to 5,000 subscribers. Make sure to share the video, comment, like, click the notification bell, do whatever you guys want to do, and also remember to turn off your notifications when you're filming if you're a YouTuber. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.